Good evening, everyone. This is the 12th and the final session for programming Java NPTEL course, and then we will have one more uh, extra session for you people, maybe on Friday for 1 hour. To if you have any problems or any things to discuss with respect to Java programming, we will discuss at that point of time. So till now we have covered a lot of things, and from last two sessions we are covering the Java collections specifically. This is the third part where I will cover all remaining part of the Java collections part. Uh, the reason I'm spending more time here is because eventually it's easier for you people to start using this Java collection more and more over a period of time rather than implementing the same kind of things by yourself, right? So these how to use these different kind of data structures from the Java collection, what are the methods which you can support it. That's the premise that we were looking from last two weeks, and this we will complete the Java collection properly. So let me start by sharing the screen. I hope my screen has put up there. Yeah. Okay, so let's start. So the 12th session. So till now, throughout the course, not even this last two sessions, we have covered this part ArrayList a lot. We use it in multiple ways. We have in last two sessions we have seen collections as a class as well as the set and sorted set as well. Queues also has been covered with respect to the ArrayList and linked list part. Today we are going to see the map part, because map, even though it's a part of a collection framework, it doesn't inherit or it doesn't implement the collection interface. It has its own map interface, and we are going to look at hash map and link hash map and tree map. So these three things we're going to see today, and followed by some collection related to enum. So that's what we're going to cover today now. So this map interface and sorted map interface, these collections, we will see how we can use them in our Java programs. Okay, so the reason map interface has been put, even though it's a part of collection framework, it's not implementing the collection interface, is the nature of its value, the values it takes. So a map usually have two values by default in nature. Earlier we have seen all the array list sets and all, it require the element has only one attribute, but by nature as an object itself, the object may contain more attributes, but by default when you're passing it, we just have to pass that object directly here. But here the concept of key and value come into picture. uh, we should have a key for sure, and its value. The only restriction is here is the key should be unique. Okay. uh, so a map in general doesn't contain duplicate keys as like sets. Okay, but set has elements. In this case we are talking about keys specifically, followed by each key has only mapped to a single value. Okay, this value can be duplicated among multiple keys, but for each key there is a single value, and each key is distinct, is unique. Okay, so to implement the map interface, we will use the hash map, linked hash map, and tree map. Hash map is unordered, that means the way it is stored in the memory is unordered part. Link hash map is ordered by insertion order, that means the way we insert element in that particular thing, in the particular linked hash map variable, the way that only it will store, the way we have seen in linked list arrays and all that. But tree map is automatically a sorted map. Okay, so how it's sorted out, we have seen the last couple of sessions. Whenever you use tree, it is by default they sort it based on certain criteria of binary tree and some comparators. So we'll not go to cover that part today. So we'll just see the implementation aspect of this. uh, let's start with normal basic of uh, maps first, and then we'll go towards the order and sorted map implementation as well. So to cover from the last point, so we will take some setup code that I'm using from last session here. Uh, so what we are doing is we are creating an object of contact, and that contact has set of strings of emails and phone numbers. This data has been stored in contact data.java. Now, this contact data.java has private static final. That is this is the original data that we are having. That we have some cartoon names followed by its phone number, and we have some cartoon names and followed by its email ID. So this is how we are having it. This data we are going to use it. Okay, and using get data functionality, based on whatever the data we are asking, even if we are asking for email data or we are asking for phone data, we can retrieve it using this particular code. Okay, so it will ask for what kind of data do we want, and based on that it will extract that data as a list, and that data list will be written of a list type. Okay, of a contact type in this case. Now contact data has certain functionalities. So it has basic attributes of name, string set, email as a hash set, okay, and phone has a hash set. So these are the things. So no duplicate elements, but particularly in this case. And we have some constructor out here. So given based on the contact, if we just give contact, it will still create an object. It will give name and as well as email. It will still create name and phone number. It will also create the object for the contact. Okay. Now get get name is get name is specifically a getter function for the extracting the name. We will look into get name last first. By default it means that I will extract the last name of that name first, and then I will return off the last name followed by the first name. That's what we are going to do. In merge contact contact data, we are merging. So if a name has both email id as well as phone number, we will merge that thing. So for that we have the function called merge data. Okay, so this is a setup data. So in short, you have to understand that we have a list of contacts, and to manipulate this contact we are using contact .java in this case. Okay, now how we can utilize this data. Now data is in particular string format, or we can create as a hash format, hash set as well. But how to deal with the main map. Okay, so for that we have created map.main, and we have a main function. So first let me extract this data from the contact data. So how will I do that? So I will create a list of contact type, email as a variable name, contact data dot get data. The get data is from contact data only, and from that I'm asking what kind of information do I need. So I asking for email, so I will get stored in email. Similarly, I need to extract phone data as well, so I'm extracting it. So list of contact type itself, I will name it as phones, and while calling the contact data dot get data, I'm extracting phones. Okay. Uh, okay, now we have two lists ready. So let's first create a map. So we have to create a map out of it, right? So for that, first list out all the things, and then we will do the our processing. So list contact. So I will extract the full list and merge it in an array list as well. So array list, I will passing first phones followed by full list dot add all emails. Okay, so while doing constructor, I'm passing while creating array list, I'm passing this list of phones of contact type, and followed by I'm using add all function which come in the Java collection itself. I'm adding the email as well. So it will create it out, and then I will just print it out. So full list dot for each. So for each is a lambda expression in this case. So I'll just, instead of writing the whole content as a loop, I can directly call for loop for each, and then if I print it out, it will print all the elements present the full list. And then let me create a separator out of it. So let me run this code now. it's building. So bear with me, it's taking a little time to build. Okay, now it's running. I think it's taking very long time. Okay, so let me show you the actual list. So this is the list that we have getting from contact data.java. Okay, so we are getting all this list directly from there. Now these are, if you can see, there are some duplicate names here, like Mickey Mouse has two phone numbers, and similarly Mickey Mouse has one more phone number, three phone numbers, and followed by two email IDs, right? So we have some uh, two phone numbers of Robin Hood, like that. So we have certain information here where we have some, even though the values are duplicate, their names have, we have as a sorry, values are unique, even the names have been a duplicate. Okay, so I just want to show this because now what we're going to do, we're going to have a hash map. Now we're going to put all this in the hash map. Okay, so let me write it down. So map string, um, so it's a map and key and value. So the key will be keep as string, and um, the value will be kept as an object of contact. So that's what we are creating. So contact equal to new hash map, and now enhance for loop we are writing. So contact full list. So we will traverse the whole full list one by one. Contacts dot put contact dot get name and contact. Okay, so now what is happening here is using put function. So put function is for adding an element in a map. Okay, put function adds an element in a map. So for that, so the way we use add function for adding in a list, similarly put is there for adding an element in a map. Okay, and since we are asking the map contains the key value, in this case here is the key should present as a string format, and its value can be of contact object, right? So here using the contact.getName function, which is present in contact data, contact.java. So it's just a getter function that we're asking for, which returns the name of the particular object. We are extracting that as a key, and contact here is the object as a value. Okay, so that's what we are doing. And if we do contact for, if I just print it out for using for each, so I'm writing a lambda expression because for each except lambda expression. So key value system.out.println key equal to k, value equal to v. Okay, now let me just put a separator here so that we can understand our output. Okay, so we created a map, a hash map, basically a hash map named contacts, and we are using full list, which is a type of list. We are using that and adding element using the put function. Now if I just run this code, we will see the difference that how a hash map will store a value in this case. So it's building, it will take some time. Okay, anything else? Okay, now I will tell you how the put function will also deals in printing it out, because the way it has adds elements little different from traditional add function. So let me discuss that as well, but it can be only by looking at the output. Okay, so this is the output, that we have a key where we have put in the name as a name of a person, and value is the object directly, the contact object that we are having. Okay, so if you can observe, uh, our list, original full list, is quite big, right? It might have more than 10-15 names with following by phone numbers and email ID. But what happened here is that the keys that I am having, they are only ones. So even though I have Mickey Mouse multiple times in both email ID as well as in the phone numbers, I have only one instance of that in my hash map. Why? Because my key is being unique. I can't have duplicate values. If I provide some instance of Mickey Mouse as a key, where I can provide different instances of Mickey Mouse 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can then store multiple values for it. But if I just want to put Mickey Mouse as a key, I can store only one value related to it. Okay. Now, how it is choosing a value if I have a duplicate elements, right? So here, the put function comes into picture. So its logic here is that if I have a Lucy Van Pelt, I think Lucy will not be there. Okay, let's look for Minnie Mouse. Yeah, so Minnie Mouse, we have two values. Minnie Mouse is in phone number as well as Minnie Mouse at the email ID. Okay, now as you can see, the order wise, Minnie Mouse phone number was first and followed by Minnie Mouse email ID. So if you can look here at the final value, Minnie Mouse email ID was there. Okay, so what it tells about the put function here is that, so if there is a duplicate key, okay, if there is a duplicate key, key information is there. So in this case, I already have a key called Minnie Mouse already prepared during my phone number, but I have email is present, right? Email is there. So put will add the last value related to the key in the map. So whatever the latest value it gets from the in this particular list, it will add it. So for example, Mickey Mouse last value in from this list is Mickey, its email ID, that is mickey1@aws.com. So if you just find the Mickey Mouse in this case, you will find this, even though it has more numbers. So put function found that if I have already formed a key, I will just look at that what is its latest value, and I will override that value from its earlier value. So that's how this put function work, and that's how it make it different from any other functions of adding the element in their particular type of um, collection, be it sets or be it list or be it queue. Okay, so that is one thing. Now let's find something else. So now we have already added the element in the hash map, right? Now let's see how we can extract the element. So we can use it using contains, say get function. So system.out.println, and I will just say contact dot get. I will just say one of the characters from that list. So I will just put its name. Okay, so this is using get function. If we have present that map, if the value is present in the map, it will produce its value. Okay, we are um, searching the value based on the key. Okay, so Charlie Wonkri is there, so we are finding that. Let's suppose we are trying to find um, a, a value which is not present in hash map. So I will use same get function. I will just name some other value, some other name which is not present in hash map, and let me try to run this and see how the output will differ in this case. Okay, so these are the two outputs that we just got right now from these two lines, line number 29 and 30. So if a value is present and we get that the key is present, and from that we can extract using get function. We get that okay, there's a name Charlie Brown and its phone number is available, so it is printing it out. Okay, now but if a new value is present which is not there in that map, it will show the me as a null value. Okay, but now if you want that, okay, even though I want to add a new element, but at the same time I don't want to I want to check for a new element present or not. If not there, then add it to the hash map. Okay, so that means if the element is not present, add it in the map. If this scenario you want, then there's a function call you can use, get or default. Okay, these are get and default functions. So what it will do is, first we have to create a contact. We have to create an object of contact in this case. So let me say contact called default contact, and let's say contact, and I'll create this new element which is not present in map. Okay, hash map. Then I will just do system.out.println, and I will first search whether it's present or not. That is using get, it will happen. Or if it is not present, so by default it will create its object and put it there in the hash map. Okay, and once the key I will create like this, and I will just pass the default contact, and if I just run this code, okay, then I will also need to add a separator, so let me add that also in the meantime. So it will create an object and will show that as that it has created a Chuck Brown name contact, and it's trying to check that it's present in the maps or not. Okay, so this is another way. Now if you want to clear a map, uh, clear a hash map or map, whatever you can call in this case, so you can use contacts dot clear. Okay, this function will clear it. Now for contact, let's say now want to traverse it one more time. Now you will want to check for duplicates in in the particular uh, list. Okay, can you find it or not? So what we can do is, let's create a hash map, sorry, let's create a for loop for this. Contact dot, so contact full list. So I'm extracting the duplicates from the full list rather than a hash map, because hash map will already have segregated the it will contain only unique keys and all, so that's why we can't find duplicates. But let's first create a duplicate from the list, and then we will see how we can add that in the hash map. So contacts dot put contact dot get name and contact. Okay, so it will check for a contact, and it will create its value. It will try to put there, and from this it will get some output as a duplicate. Okay, and we'll check if duplicate is null, is not equal to null. That means if it is added, it will not it will provide null, otherwise it will provide some values there. Now what you have to do is system.out.println duplicate equal to duplicate as well as current. So map we have emptied it, now we are again trying to add it. In this case, while we want to see that how the transition is happening when the put is happening, when we use the put function, because we'll find duplicate in the list for sure based on the key value. Okay, Now if this is there, and then I'll just print it out, um, the full contact as well. So contacts for each, I think I will take it from above only. Okay, and if I run this code, so I want to see the if duplicate elements are there, then we would say that what is the duplicate element and what the current contact name is and how it has been changed. Okay, so this is the value that we have already saw it when we created a hash map. So it is the same, but what we want to see here is the current duplicate part. So duplicate, if I have a value of Mickey Mouse, a particular phone number, I found a duplicate already present hash map. Now it will be changed to the current of phone number. Okay. Now again I found that there is another number for Mickey Mouse, so I will again have it. I will This is duplicate. Now I will change it with the current phone number. Okay. Um, then from this phone number, I found that there is a current email ID. So I will replace this email ID with the above phone number. So this is happening. Then again with the email ID, I found another new email ID from this, that is Mickey1 at the rate AWS. So I will change from duplicate to the current. So that's how the transition is happening one by one. Okay. So similarly for Minnie Mouse has a particular phone number, but the moment it found that Minnie Mouse also had the same email, so it overlapped the duplicate and it will show the current value. So that's why, particularly in Minnie Mouse also, we are getting uh, the email ID instead of the phone number. Okay, so that's how the duplicate thing has been identified, and that's how you can show it that how the transition is happening when you're trying to uh, you have duplicate keys in that list, but when you're having the data, how it is reaching to the current state for the hash map. Okay. uh, Another simple way, like another way to identify this here is, um, you can do contacts put, or basically to merge it, contact dot get name and contact dot merge contact data and duplicate. So it will keep on merging it, and if I just run this code as well, so I'm keep on merging the duplicate values, that the extra values that we are having, we will keep on added in the value so that we will not lost it. So for that we have the merge contact data and from the contact.java. Now if you see this values, so what is happening is, this is the email ID that I have earlier for the Minnie Mouse. Now whatever the values I have earlier, I'm adding it one by one in the back. Okay, so even though I have a Minnie Mouse and I have multiple values related to it in my list, I can keep on adding it as a values, because values can have multiple things. It doesn't have to, it can have duplicates, but um, the keys can't have it. So the merge contact data helps us to keep on adding values one by one at the back as a list. So it appends the list. So I have two phone numbers for Robinhood. I'm keep on adding it. Similarly, Mickey Mouse has two email ID and two phone numbers. So we are also adding that. Okay, so that's how we can deal with, if merge the contact. So if this is the original value, this original list we are having, okay, with multiple names and its phone number, email, and this is how the final product will be look like. Okay, for each individual name we have their respective all the emails and all the phone numbers. Okay, so if you have any question till now, please let me know in the chat box. Let me see if you have any questions. Yeah, I will share the code at the by the end of this session. Maybe I will share it like at the middle of the break when we have at 7 p.m. Okay. Okay, now we have seen a few elements. There we have seen put function, we have seen get function, get or default or clear function, right? Let's look at more in detail about other functions in this aspect. Uh, so for this, again we will clear it, and um, so let me take this. Okay, I will create a separator here and contacts clear. Okay, now again I will have it, so I will just my this thing is empty, uh, hash map. So again I'm going to add it, but only difference is, so I'll use put if absent. So contacts dot put if absent. Okay, contact dot get name as well as contact. So I will we will see the output, and then we will talk about what exactly put if absent is. So let me add it and run the code. Okay, so what's the difference between put and put absent if absent is this function that we have tried here. So put if absent, look at that I've already added an element in this in my system. Okay, in I have its specific key and I have its value. Now I only add another element only when if it's not present in my map. Okay, so I will not overlap my value anything. So whatever the value I have earlier, the first value I got for the particular key, I will add it, and then I will not add any other remaining elements if even if I found later in the later in my loop. So for example, uh, mini mouse, we have seen the mini mouse has multiple values here. So mini mouse first value was this phone number. The moment it got the phone number, even though it has a particular email ID, which we have seen later in the put using put function, we've seen that this is the highlighted one email ID was there. But using put if absent, I will only take the first element of first instance of the Minnie Mouse, not the later instance. Similarly, the Mickey Mouse has phone number, three phone numbers, okay, but it will take only the first element or not the any of the, it will ignore the rest of the elements. Okay, so this is what is happening. It look at the first number, ignore any other instances is coming. It will only add the new element if there's a new key will created. If this key already present, it will not add or overlap, so override the existing values. Okay, so that's the difference for put if absent. So let me write it down here. So put if absent uh, will only add a value in the hash map if there is no key present, no, if there is no um, key of that value is present. Okay, otherwise if the key is present, it will not overwrite the existing value with new value. Okay, so this is how the difference between put will change, override the existing value with the new value, but put if absent will not do that. Okay, now that being said, let's write the same thing that we have seen for duplicate thing again, in this case for respect to put if absent. Okay, so to do that, let me copy the code again. So I will copy this code. Let me clear few stuff. Okay, so instead of put, I will say put if absent. I will so I cleared the again the contact map. Again I will adding the one contact from, take one contact from the list and adding it based on put if absent concept. And now I am checking for duplicate aspects. So if duplicates are there, I will keep on adding in the merge data. Okay, so I'm merging it with the respect of put if absent, and I'm just printing out the value. So if I just run this code, Okay, so um, the values that I'm getting here is same as the one I've got it here earlier instead of put if absent. Okay, this value and the latest values of merge contact is same. Everything order wise is also same. There's no much difference in this case. Only thing that we have to keep in mind that in put if absent thing, it will first consider the original values only. So this was the first value for Mickey Mouse. It will add it first here only, and later it will keep on adding. It will keep on adding uh, the new values in the particular list of merged values. Okay, so that's the only difference in the back. Output wise is nothing much difference. It's same as duplicating the values and keeping it using merge contact data. So the duplicate values, whenever we're getting for a key, we're just adding at the um, append it in the back of the already making list that we're having here. Okay, so this is for duplicate aspect for put if absent and put function. Now let's try to create merge part. So there's a thing called merge function. So let's see how it will work it out for here. Um, Same aspect. I will clear the map again, and let me okay, so let me create a new for loops. In this case I will use the lambda expression for some difference. So full list dot for each, so I will take for each element in the present in the full list. Okay, I will I will contract the contact thing from contacts. Each contact element I will use contacts dot merge, in which I will pass contact dot get name, and I will pass the contact. Okay, now I will do some more crazy stuff here. So let me write it down first and then I will explain it. So previous and current, the same thing that we have written earlier, we are going to do here, the previous values and the current value while changing it. So system out dot println. So I'm creating a lambda expression right now. So I'm writing it as a block itself. So prev previous element, say previous value, followed by current value, and I will add contact merge, create a new contact with having the values added up. So previous dot merge contact data, add the current value in this, and system dot out dot println. I'll just write merged. I'll pass this merge contact and I will just return the merged value. Okay, so it might be looking very heavy. So let's down it one by one. So what we are doing, the same thing that we have written here for enhanced loop, I have written here specifically uh, the same thing. It will keep on adding at the back, and we'll add the new previous and new value which is print out, and then we keep on adding that in the map values. If I just run this code also, then maybe it's better to explain based on the output. Okay, so let's look at the output one by one. So first element was my Mickey Mouse, and the current Mickey Mouse value was particular phone number. Okay, now what I have done is, so this is what happening is, I will take one contact one at a time, and I will call contact dot merge. So in that contact dot merge, I will have to pass the name, that is a key, as well as contact. Now what I'm creating, this is a lambda expression I'm highlighting right now. Um, Anything within this curly braces is a lambda function basically, but let me write lambda function, that is better, and then lambda expression. Okay, so here I'm passing current and previous value. So what is happening is, uh, from the contact I will have this previous value of the particular key and the current value of the key. So that is I'm getting printing this value. Then once I'm doing this, I'm using the previous dot merge contact, that is the existing key and its value. I'm merging the current value as well. So this value of for particular key of Mickey Mouse, this is my previous phone number and this is my new phone number. I'm merging it such that I will get this value. Okay, I'm printing the merged thing and then returning it. So once I'm returning this value will get returned here in the place of contact. Okay, this merge will replace with contact and that's how it will be. So for example, now if this is my previous, right, now this is my current merge for Mickey Mouse value. Now it will become the current for it will become the previous of this value which is earlier merged will become previous. Now current value is my phone number, new phone number. Now using this merge point, I will merge this value to the previous thing. So I will keep on it, and since it is this value is a hash set and the phone number was same, so I am having only two values. Now if I add the new email ID in this hash set, you can see that I am getting the new email ID as well as the phone number. Okay, and if this is my previous values, and now I have found a new email ID for this. So I will again merge this current value with the previous value such that I will have all the email ID as well as all the phone numbers here. So this is a more breakdown aspect of this, uh, which I can use to see that how in the map in the background how my hash map can merge uh, the values even for a same key, right? So using this merge thing I can do that. So if I just cut this, so what merge function is basically doing here is, uh, if I have another value for let's say particular key, I can merge that value with its previous value. Okay, so that's what is happening here. Okay, I think this is maybe you have seen those who have learned lambda expression, lambda function, this is what it's happening here. So we can write like this as well in this case. Okay, now if you want to more, you can concise this one more time, more in a better way. That is, I'll just show you for the sake of the demonstration. So for list dot for each and contact contacts dot merge contact dot get name contact and contact merge contact data. Okay, so here I'm not printing out anything, but this thing will do the exact same thing like this, even though I'm not printing this out. So if I just comment this part, if I just write this in a very simplistic way, it may be harder to understand this aspect compared to this, but those who want to go a little further there, you can merge this aspect here. Same operation that you have done here is reflecting in this two lines of code. Okay, and if I just print this values, and if I run this code, I will get the same output that we have seen just earlier. Only that I will just not printing the previous as well as current in this aspect. Okay, So this is same as what we have seen earlier, how to deal with duplicate values for a given key that we are dealing with. So that's what we are showing. Okay. uh, so this is for the merge function. Now let's, if you look at the compute if absent. Okay, so this is there. So we will look at few more concepts. So compute if absent this function from the hash for the maps or the hash map particularly, as well as replace all function as well in this case. Okay, so let me quickly write some code here. Okay, so I have add the separator. Now let me create some new strings. So for string contact name, I'm creating a new string and I'm adding some new values here. So let's say a few more cartoon characters. So Daisy Duck, Daffy Duck, Scrooge Duck. Okay, so I have this, and sorry, now I will traverse through each of them one by one, and what I will do is in contacts, if I do compute if present, uh, okay, let me do first compute if absent first. uh, okay, let me do some more thing. Let's go with a basic compute. Let's try, and I'll just add contact name and key and value, new contact with the following key. Okay, so I'm creating in the contacts, that is the hash map I'm having. I'm using the compute function. It will check for the contact name, and if since they are new contacts, I will add it as a creating a new contact thing. Okay, this lambda expression that I am using here. And if I just run this code for here also, okay, if I just run this code using compute thing, let's see what will happen. Okay, so if I use compute directly, it will add the key because we have added here. So it will create a new contact based on the name of the key. And since we haven't passed any value, so it will keep me value for email and phone as empty empty. Similarly for Daffy Duck as well as for Scrooge Muck. Okay, now let's do something different. So let me copy this again and let me write that if absent. Okay, same thing, it is basically contact name, and here if absent I don't have to pass the value, I just need to pass the key in this case. Okay, in compute only key and value both needs to pass. Here only key needs to be passed. If I just run this code, okay, same output. In this case value Daisy Duck is there, Scrooge Muck is there. Okay, now how it is different from earlier output, it is that we have the Daffy Duck, right? So in compute, even though you might have a different you can see that earlier Daffy Duck was already also present in the compute function, but it was given half empty values. But in there, because compute if absent, so if the particular key is already is not present in the map, I will create it. Otherwise, I will not create it. That's what compute if absent says. But if I again comment it and just put compute here and run this code again, we will look at the Daffy Duck specifically. So here it hasn't created the new values, new key value pair for it. but here you will check that its earlier value also has been removed, that is the email ID that Daffy Duck has in the compute function. Okay, it will have only a direct, it will have only the empty values. Okay, so that's the difference between compute and compute if absent. So if it is using compute, if the element is already present, still it will create its empty value there as a new element in the hash map. But compute if absent will only add element if its key value is not present in the hash map. Otherwise, it will retain its old values that is present in the hash map. So that's the difference here. That is for compute and compute if absent. Let's say compute if present as well. So let me copy this, and here same thing. What only difference is compute if present, right? So that means you compute the particular hash map only when it's present. So let me change this. Same thing, daisy duck this and that, and if present. Now if their name is present, what we will do here is uh, contact name key and value k and v followed by its body, where we write v dot value. V is value, so we're calling it add email because the contact type, and we'll just say fun place. We are providing the company name, and we are just returning v. So what it will do basically, uh, that for each of these values, since these are if these values are present in the hash map, it will add a new email of the by the name of fun place. So if I just run this code also, okay, so let's look at the daisy duck first. So daisy duck, it created that ddduck at the rate funplace.com. Similarly, Daffy Duck, if it has it even though it has already a own email, it create a new email for ddduck at the rate funplace.com. So that's how the values has been created. So if the particular key is present in that particular map, if this is a function that we are providing, that is, let's add the new name, new email with the particular company name. So that's how it will create its thing. Now how this add email is present, add email came from the contact.java. So here the add email is there, where we ask for company name. We will give a company name, and then given the name dot split, we'll ask for the its original name, object name, and followed by we add its name, company name in the particular email ID as an email ID, like gmail.com. Instead of Gmail, we'll add the company name here. That is the fun place. Okay, now that this is done, that is compute, compute if absent, and compute if present. So if present, what should we do? If absent, what should you do? Okay, now I think remaining is replace and replace all kind of thing. So let me do that quickly here as well. So I've created this, I've created a separator here. Now, uh, okay, now let's use a replace.all function. Okay, so what we'll do is, we write change here, contact dot replace all key and value. We create writing a lambda expression here. Lambda expression for given a key and value. So for each e and value, we'll just write string new email key dot for a particular key replace all empty space with this close place plus funplace.com. Then we did replace email if it exists. We check for the particular name funplace.com with this new email. So we are checking for a particular value. If this particular email is exist, we will just change it with the new email. Okay. Now if I just do this and then return B. Okay, and if I just print it out. Okay, so let me run this code. So what we are doing is for each email, for each key, we are changing its particular face values from the name and adding funplace.com at the end. And specifically, if we are creating the new email, and if we find this particular email ID, then we change that this particular key only with the new email ID. Okay, so let me look at it. Yeah, this is the value. So we are looking for we replace new exist or not, and at the rate funplace.com. Now we look at ddduck whether it's present or not. So this is present, but now it hasn't been changed anything. Something is missing, I guess, in my code. So we replace mail if exists ddduck at the rate funplace. Oh, sorry. Now let me run this again. Okay, so instead of removing this reject, that is empty space, so instead of deduct, we are just keeping the first name of that particular element. So the value was daisy duck, that value we have taken directly with removing the space and add it here. That is dd duck instead of daisy duck and daffy duck. Okay, that's how we are replacing it, and then we can put it directly using the replace all function. Remaining things has not been changed, only if this condition exists, that is replace email if exists. It's a email function that we created in contact.java. So if this kind of email we got, we'll take the key value, remove this particular space between them, and then add it at the funplace.com. Okay, that's how we are doing it. Okay, so this is for replace all, and let me add for, just give me a minute, I will add the replace function also. Replace function, so let me have a separator here, and contact, I'll create a new contact called Daisy, new contact Daisy Jane Duck, and I having its particular email ID daisyj at duck.com. Okay, now what I'll do, contact, I will just replace it with the existing one. So replace contact, contacts dot replace function. I will search for Daisy Duck as a key and change it with Daisy. Okay, system dot out dot println plus Daisy. So Daisy equal to Daisy, and we'll check the what is the replace content right now. Replace contact equal to replaced contact, and then we just present this thing here. If I just run this code, so what we have done here is I create a new, instead of Daisy Duck, I just create a new contact called Daisy JM Duck and with specific email ID, and I want to replace it in the map. So what I am doing, I created a contact or replace content where I will store it. So contact dot replace this, and we will see that how the value has been changed. Okay, so initial was this, that is the name, and replace content was this, that is zduck@funplace.com. Now the original in the content that we can see that even though we have replaced it in contacts and we have seen the replace content here, uh, it returns the value which has been changed. Okay, so you can see that using the replace function we are able to add the daisy part, daisy j at the duck with respect to this. Okay, so there are the few functions that you can play with the map. Here we have done with hash maps, but the same function you can do for tree map and link hash map also. But for that I will use something else. We will show that. So it's already 1 hour, so let's take a 5 minutes break in this case. But before that I will what I have done in this session is we have used hash maps, and in that hash map we have seen that how to add an element using put function, or check that whether the function exists or not using get or default. Okay, clear function, you can clear the hash map, and then there's a function called put if absent. So if the condition that if the element is already there, so what you should do with respect to it. Then followed by we have seen merge function to merging data, compute if absent, compute if present, replace all, and replace. So we have covered at least 10 function already with respect to this. Now in the next session we will look at not the hash map specifically, we will look at the linked hash map and tree maps, and we see that what are the things we can do with them, extra functionality. What are the functions that we are seeing here can be done in those two as well. On top of that, what else we can do, we will see in the next part of the session. But before that, let me see if you have any questions. Okay. Okay, fine. No question. If you have any question, please let me know in the chat box, or you can mute yourself as well. For now, it's already 7:05. So by 7:10, we will start. So let me just write that. We will start the session by 7:10 p.m. Okay, so we'll just start the session there, and we'll complete the whole map part. Only few functionalities are there that we have to see with the maps, that is specifically the views in this case, and followed by few enum aspects. So we will look into those aspects in the next part. So let's take a 5 minute break in this case and come back and complete the mapping part of the Java collection in this case. Okay. हाँ तो मेरा कोडिंग वाला है प्रोग्रामिंग कोई नहीं. Okay, welcome back. So let's start with the concept of tree set and all that. So sorry, trees. Sorry, my bad. Not tree set, tree maps uh, as well. That we can see that how we can use them here. Okay. Uh, so let me start with here. So map interface has uh, two more things, linked hash map and tree map. So they are specifically ordered. The hash map, by default hash map is unordered thing. The way you order doesn't mean that it will store in that way. It can store in any other way. But hash map is stored the values, key and values based on the order in which they have been inserted, as well as the tree map uh, implement a comparable comparator uh, and sort the keys based on the particular trees. Okay, now those are the things, but let's go little aspect of something called as views. Okay, that's say as I said earlier that these implementation what we have function that we are seeing there, the same thing we can do in the hash map aspect as well. Okay, so there's nothing much we can with respect to this we can do into, but there's something called as view. So what are views in the Java collection? Okay, so it actually doesn't store the element, but it connect with the it can show specific part of that memory that you in which you have certain elements. For example, in the sets we have seen that head set, tail set, subset in the last session for the set, where given a set it will extract few subset value from a given set using these three functions, right? So it provides a certain kind of view with respect to it. Even when you do arrays.list, it just provide it even though the list is stored in the way the array is stored, but we see it as a list only. Okay, so how it's stored in the memory that we don't know, but still provide a different way of outlooking it. Okay, so it is similar to the database view, that it will just show you some specific data. It doesn't tell about what kind of data structure in which they store into, but it easier for us to deal with such only few aspect of the data. Okay, so we can manipulate the particular those data that we extracting from the views, um, and it will reflect back into the original one itself. Okay, so we don't have to learn new methods to manipulate data. We just, if we have views using which we can do it. So uh, so how it deals with the hash map aspect in this place. So it is basically a map that we are having. So this map interface that we have having, it has three functions: key set, entry set, and values. Okay, uh, from this we will see each of these functionalities now. Now this hash map will implement this particular hash interface that we have seen already, and to store it as a node. Okay, as well as this map.entry is there as a separate interface, which will be implemented by hash map.node. So this overall structure view of hash map class, right? So what is do memory entry in this case? So we have a static nested interface called entry. So what does it mean? uh, so it deals with how we enter the specific elements in this aspect. Okay, so it implements both interface and map entry interface. The hash map implements map as well as static nested class node that implements the map entry interface. Okay, so it also contains an array of these nodes. This node specifically talk about, which call as tables, uh, which is dealt by the Java itself. Okay, and because of this reason it has been hashed, these nodes have been hashed, um, stored based on the hashing function, and that's why it's not ordered. Now the map view of collection has three functions: key set, entry set, and values. Uh, so these can so when we are calling this function, a specific set of values we can extract it using map. Even though these are coming from map, we are taking it as a set view. Okay, it's stored in a map, but we are calling the set function using a map object. So that's the difference I want to keep clear in mind. It's stored as a map, but we still asking a return type will be a set. Okay, and each key value pair is stored as an instance of an entry, and the combination of key and value will be unique because the key is unique. Okay, so we'll see that more when we understand, we will start doing with it, but I'm just trying to give you an overview of what we're going to do in the next 30-40 minutes with respect to this. Now these set views, which basically pass the set as a output here as a written object, uh, in this case can be retrieved using entry set methods. So, and using entry set method, I can extract these entries, any of these entries on nodes. Now finally the values are stored and referenced by the key and value can have duplicate, meaning duplicate multiple key could reference to a single value. We will see that what does it mean here, and also we can get the collection view of these from the values method on a map instance. So what eventually we are doing is we have a map. Sorry, I can write it here, I hope so. So we have a map. uh, we want we If we want to know its subset of values, okay, so we will use this key set value, which will provide me a subset of values from them, where on which I can manipulate the data on top of that, which will be reflected directly in the map. Okay, so this is what exactly we're trying to see here. uh, and when a set is written from the key set, as we said, and is backed by the map, this means changes to the map are reflected in the set and vice versa. So if I change something in the map, it will reflect in set. If I change something on the set, it will reflect in map. Okay, and I can use all this remove or retain all clear method as well. I can't use add and add all. So I can remove certain things from the set or from the map, but I can't add anything there. So let's see in action that how we can deal with it. So let me go back to the code. Here I will create a new class in this case. So let me create Java class. Let's say map views dot name. Sorry. Again, what we are our aim here is that given a map, I need to extract subset of element on which I want to do some computation, and once I do computation on that particular set, I will it will reflect that back directly on that map itself. Okay, so that's the purpose that we are doing here. So let me create first a map. It consists of string and contact, and I'm naming it as contact. Same as earlier, and I'm keeping it as a hash map. Okay, now let's get the data from the main. So I will just copy paste this. Okay, so I have this email uh, and list. Okay, let me show you a different way directly here. So I will just do contact data dot get data, and I will ask for maybe a phone first, and for each element present in that uh, phone, I am creating a lambda expression here. So contacts dot put c dot get name as well as c. So I'm from the contact. So what I'm directly doing is I'm extract using get data for each element that I'm finding from this list of phone. I'm adding them directly into the map. Okay, this contact dot put I'm adding directly into the map. Similarly, I will add phone email here as well. So let me write email. So I've added here. Now let's create a set of strings, and I will do keys, name it as key views. So I will extract only keys from that particular contact that I have created just now, contacts. So key set. So what key set will do? It will extract all the keys present in map and storing in a set called key views. Okay. Now once I have this, let's print it out. So system.out.println key views, and if I just run this code, okay, so if I just run this code, this is a set that I am getting as key views, and you can say since it's a set, no duplicate element in set as well, so I'm getting individual names directly here. So I extracted the keys from contacts.keyset. I'm dealing with I'm storing in key view, and which is a type of set of type string. Okay, okay, that is fine. So let's do something here. uh, First I will try to search first let me create one more thing. So let's say, sorry, close this. Yeah, so I will create a copy of keys now, because I want to show some differences here. So copy of keys, but I will store it as tree set, and here contacts dot key set, and I just, if I do system.out.println copy of keys, if I run this code, so this is a particular set, and this is your tree set. Anything with the collection called tree, it is mean it has been ordered. So it order the keys based on name, because we are extracting name only in this case. So this is key extract, me extracting directly from the and keeping set, and here the tree set, it is storing as a tree set in this case, but it has been ordered because tree set is usually a ordered element of sets. Okay, so it start from C and ending with R, the name with R. Okay, this is a few things, but let's go to the main thing now. So first let's found if contacts dot contains key, let's say Linus Van Pelt, and if that is the case, I will just print it out one thing, system.out.println, and I will just say Linus and know each other. Okay, so contains key, using contains key, I'm trying to find a particular person here of particular based on the value, string value that I'm having. Okay, it will store whether, if it is true, it will print out this function, otherwise it will not print, right? That is fine, but main thing, let's say if you want to remove some element, let's say Daffy Duck. So what I'm doing, I'm removing from key view, not from contact. So I'm removing only from set, not from a map. If I do this, I will just print out system.out.println keys view, as well as I will print the contact as well. So contact for each key and value, system.out.println and v. Okay, so if I just run this code, so I just remove the Daffy Duck. remove it from the set. Okay, and we are printing the both the key views, that is set, as well as the original map. So let's see how the output will be. Okay, so using first thing, that contains key, if contains key is there, then it's printing me out, so that is fine. So that is working, contains key. But our main thing was that if I remove a thing, so here I just remove the Daffy Duck, so it was not there. Earlier you can see that earlier in the set keys Daffy Duck was present, but this is the latest output, and in this it is not there, right? Now if you can see one more thing here, that it is not even present in map. Okay, there's no Daffy Duck in the current contact as well. So what does it mean? Even though key we are presenting as set, its background is map only, it's storing only certain values. uh, it's not, it's just considered as a reference variable of a set type focusing on contact, and the moment we remove Daffy Duck, it has been removed from contact as well, from the set, and it shows that as well as map as well. Okay, so that's the view that we are talking about, that if change any made in that particular view, it will be reflected directly in the map as well. So that's the one thing that I want you to remove. But let's do one more thing. So here we did copy of keys, right? So in this can we do also, so here we created tree set, and here also we added as contact.tree key set, right? So copy of keys, um, dot remove, and let me add van pelt. Let me add some separator also. Okay, I'm removing this, as well as I'm just copy of keys. Okay, let me run this code also. So what we have done earlier, we have two sets where we are creating a set. Sorry, we are trying to create a set using contact.keyset. Okay, that's the one thing. Here what we are doing, we are first creating a tree set, and there in the constructor we are passing that contacts.keyset. So we want to see that if we remove uh, from the copy of keys, that's a tree set that we are having, if we remove this, will it affect the contacts, original map contacts, or not? Okay, so this is the output. So in this we can see that Linus Van Pelt was not here, that is fine, but in the contact it is there. Okay, so what is exactly happening here? So the difference what happening from the this thing, that is 24 26 and 30 to 32. Okay, the difference what is happening here is coming from their original initialization here. Okay, so when I am creating a set string dot key value key views thing, okay, of set type, I'm directly passing it value, so it act as a key views, act as a reference variable that we have talked about earlier a lot of times. So this is considered as a reference uh, variable, but here when we are creating set of copy keys, it map actually create a copy and store a copy of it, and then store it in copy of keys, which is in a separate memory location. That's why even if I am deleting anything from the copy of keys, it's not reflecting back to the map. Here the map is contacts. Okay, but here I'm not creating the set, the key value is not created in separate location, just pointing to the location of map. So anything I made change to the key view, it's reflecting in the contact. But here I created a new tree set. Here I haven't created any new using new keyword, I haven't used that. So here I created a new tree set using new keyword, so and memory has been located, and all this value has been stored in that particular set, tree set. That's why even though I have changed, it has changed in that set, it is not reflecting back in the contact. So that's the main thing that you have to remember, that if such kind of situation arises, you have to see that when if you're removing something and they ask that whether it will reflect your original thing or not, you have to check whether the variable in which something has related but has been created with new functionality or not, new keyword or not. Okay. So I hope this part is clear with respect to this. Uh, okay, now let's use some other functionalities. So we have seen remove function, somewhere it will work, somewhere it not work, and what are the condition for that. There's something called as retain all. Okay, so let's see how we can use this. So let me add a separator here. Okay, so I will just use key views. So instead of removing it, I will also take it as retain all function, where I will keep only certain elements and remove other elements. So how I can pass retain all list of, I can pass Linus Manpelt, Charlie Brown, Robin Hood, Mickey Mouse. Okay, so now what will happen is it will retain only these values, keys with this value only, and remove rest of them. Okay, so if I just print this thing out also, or I will take directly from here, and we will see that since we already know that anything we change in keyviews, it will map in contact as well, right? So that is one thing that we will look into. And also one more thing we will see clear function. So let's say we'll write key view dot clear, and we will print out the contact as well. Print out contact. Okay, and let me have some separator here as well, and let me run this code. So we are going to see two functions, retain all as well as clear function, which we are applying on key views, and we will see that whether it has an effect on contact or not. So by now we know that it has effect. So let's see how it will be. Okay. So in this retain all function, so we ask for specific four names. These four names should be present and rest of them has to be removed. So if that is the case, so we can see that Linus Feldman, Charlie Brown was there, and Mickey Mouse is there. Robin Hood is not there. Why Robin Hood is not here? This is the values. No, this is not. Am I missing something here? Oh, sorry, I have a space. Let me run this again. I have a space in this, so that's why it's not able to identify Robin Hood. But here at least should four values should be present instead of this. But clear function is same, that when I clear the keys view, contact is also remain empty. So it is showing by the maps curly braces. So it means the contact is empty when I am clearing the set in this case, because of the because that set that we are passing is just a view of the actual map. Okay, and the retain all function, whatever the values that we are passing here, these values are present directly in this case. Okay, uh, sorry, something came up. Okay, now that being said, let's so these are two functions that we are having. Now let's try to add, now we have cleared all the things in the contact, right? So let's try to add something using key views, that is set. So let me write key views dot add, because key view is basically a set, and let me add the name Daffy Duck, and let me print the contact as well. So system.out.println contact, and let me run this code as well with the separator. Okay, let me run this code. Okay, so till now everything is fine, but here what's happening is keyViews.add Daffy Duck, when we are doing it's saying that unsupported operation exception. Okay, because Java base Java abstract collection dot add at maps view main. Why it is happening? Because the set is just a reference point, it just provides a view, we can't add it. Here we say that it doesn't uh, the set that we are getting written from the key set, in this case it does not support add or add all operations. So even though it doesn't show any compile error as compilation error at the static level, but dynamically level it will show that we have a unsupported thing. Why this is happening again and again? Just a minute. Yeah, I think some pop-ups are coming, that's why my screen is not visible. So but here I think you can see that using a key views we can't add anything much here. Okay, that's fine. So let's again add some data. So we have seen the key set till now, so let's add some more values here again and see that how it will work out. So for that I'm taking this values again, adding it here. So contact data, uh, now let's have it as of email first followed by phone. Okay, now once we have this, uh, let's print it out, println key views. So we added the data in the map, and we are seeing that whether it will reflect in the key view again or not. Okay, that's the first thing we will see. Now once we have this, uh, let me have some more thing. Now we already see key set, now looks time for look for values. So for that we will just say var values contacts dot value. So it's one of the three functions that we are seeing here: key set, entry set, and values. So we are looking at values right now. We have looked at the key set already. So once we do this, and we just printed out values dot for each system dot out println. Okay, and let me have it as a separator. Okay, let's run this code first, and we'll talk about the both the aspect that we have added just right now as a code. Sorry, I have to comment this few lines of code, that is adding part. Okay, so let me write this code again, run this code again. So the first thing that we're going to see, that once we add the fill the map which we have just cleared it, emptied using key views, it will it reflect in key views or not? That's the first thing. Other way around, and then we will look at that using the contact.value function, what values we get, and how when we print it how it will look like. The first answer is yes. So if we again fill our contacts with the values, it will again fill the key value, it will not remain empty as like this. Okay, that's the first thing. So it goes both around ways. So if I change key views or if I change map, it will reflect directly to each other. So that's answer the question. Next is we are extracting the values from the contact. and we are printing it. So this is how the values will look like directly. uh, so its values, keys are different. Again, keys are basically the names. Keys are like, let me see, here it's not, here it's only values here. But keys are basically name. These names only are the keys here. Okay, and these values that we are directly printing it out. Now what we'll do with this, let's uh, deal with certain aspect of this. So we will do values dot retain all, and in this contact data dot get data and only emails. So what we'll do is, and we'll just print system.out.println key views, and we'll just print out each and every contact. And a separator. So what we are trying to do here is, we'll only put only those contact data which has email address. So we'll extract that email ID, and whatever the values are present in the in this, specifically we will tell it as, it's a collection type object. So in this, when we're doing this, it will only retains the retain all value, and when then we will see that whether it reflects the key value or not, and then we'll put the contact thing. Okay, so once, if we are doing this, so you can see that key values has been there, it's remain as it is, but uh, the values here, we have both phone numbers as well as this. Maybe because it's not only looking at the keys specifically, not its values changing, so it's not changing its value. So whatever the values are present, it is keeping as it is here. Okay, so that's the for retain all. Let me see any other function. um, yeah, now let's try to, uh, if we are to sort it, if we have to sort this particular thing, how we can sort it, let's look at to that. So we'll just first create a list of contact, list equal to new array list, and we'll pass this contact. No, I have to pass values here. Now let's dot sort. So when you are using sorting function, we have seen that we have to pass some comparator. So we are passing the comparator in this case, comparator dot comparing, and we have to pass the parameter that we want. So we are using get name last name, get name last first. Okay, so let me explain what is that, and then list for each lambda expression. C points out to system.println c dot get name last first, followed by the contact that we are having, and then we are just printing this out. And let me run this code. Okay, so let's talk about what is get name last first. So it's present in contact.java. So this is the function that we are talking about. So what it will do is, if I have a name called Daffy Duck, it will just convert it as Duck Daffy. Okay, that's what it's trying to do here. Uh, so we are trying to sort it based on the last name in this case. So we are sorting based on last name, and then we are printing it out. So you can see that earlier, starting with ln, it's unsorted. Now we're sorting it with the name of last name, that is duck, hood, mouse and van. So that's how it is. Uh, we can sort it for a given list. In this case, for a given values based on the get name last. Okay, so that's the thing. And let's few more function, that is get function and then entry set that we have to look into. So let's look into that as well. So let me complete those code. uh, so now let's find contact first list dot get, it will get the first element. Okay, now contacts dot put first dot get name last as well as first. I will explain what are these function will be. Values dot for each system dot out println, and I will just create a simple space print, and I will print keys views as well for each system dot out colon colon println. And yeah, I think yeah that's it, and let's keep me a separator. Let me run this code. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we extract from the given list, this particular list, we're extracting the first element, that is Daffy Duck in this case. We're taking its memory thing, and we're trying to add this thing in already present contacts. Okay, and we are printing values as well as key views in this case to see that whether since we have changed the contact right now by adding a new element using put function, let's see that whether it changes the value as well as key views or not. Okay, so this was our original uh, contact right now, contacts. Okay, now when we added the Daffy Duck in this case, it is printing the values, that values for each system that we are doing. We can see that there's uh, two new values of same type is there, but the question is how a map can store two values, because we have changed its key. So if we can see that the Daffy Duck in this case is duck comma Daffy, as well as in original case Daffy Duck. So even though our values are same as it is, its key is different, and that what we have able to show it, and it's reflecting both in the case of values as well as key views. So anything changes we made in values and key views also, anything we change in the map is also reflecting values and key views as well. Okay, so that's some manipulation of the data that we have done in this case. uh, and also if you want to check again, so it's in map, right? So but it's still, if you want to check some duplicates present or not, so we can use hash set. So new hash set, and we pass this values we can pass because they are we know that they are duplicates. So set dot for each system dot out colon println, and then if set dot size is less than contacts dot key set dot size, you can just check duplicate values are present in my map. So here we're checking we know that keys has to be unique, but if you still want to check whether your value is also unique or not, for that you can put this values, that values that you are extracted uh, using contacts.values, right? You extract that, put that in hash set, and check that whether the key set that from which you are extracting the key value, and from the values, if there's difference in size, you can just print out duplicate values. Okay, So if I just run this code, is sorry, it shows that my duplicate value is present in my map because I had two instances of Daffy Duck in this case, here and here, but I have it's two different keys in which Daffy Duck has been defined. That's why these two values can be kept. But if I put this pass these values in the set, we can identify that there's a difference in that. So that's why we can identify duplicate values also in the map. So that's the thing. Only last function is remaining from the map, that is entry set. So let me quickly write that as well. So var node set contacts dot entry set. Okay, now we will traverse for each var node from the node set. Each node will traverse. We will ask for print.system.out.println. So we'll look at that how the values has been stored in the node set. So we'll look into that. So get class dot get name. So that this part we have seen earlier, that for any object we can find the class name. So using get class dot get name we can do that. So now we are checking another condition. So if node dot for particular node, that is particular instance of map in this case, get if node key equals node dot get value dot get name. So if it equals is not equal to this, then system.out.println node dot get class dot get name, this, and as well as system.out.println key doesn't match name, node dot get key and its particular value, node dot get value. Okay, so let me run this while explaining. So what we have done is we have the third function called entry set. So using this we are getting a node set. This node set of is a type of set. It's basically a set it is I am passing out, and for each node we are passing what is its class. Okay, class name. Now we're checking that for each key whether its key is equal to its value or not. Okay, that's the thing. So so first thing, that is hash map entry set entry set. So that's what we are getting. Now if you have to show here, so map.entry is a particular kind of interface that we are having. This interface is for hash map implementation. That's why we are getting hash map dollar entry set. That's dollar said that it's an interface. Now uh, if we key name doesn't match but its values get matched. Okay, so in this case we have one instance where key doesn't match, Daffy Duck and Duck comma Daffy, but its value match, right? So first we are extracting its class name, that is this hash map node. Okay, so we are getting it in terms of node, uh, this hash map node function static class that we are having, we are getting that of that type, and then we are printing its key as well as its values. Okay, so that is what we are trying to show here using entry set. So in entry set we can check that if I have multiple different keys but same different keys but same values, how we can identify them using this code. Okay, so we have covered I think all the functions with respect to it uh, for the maps as well. So let me quickly revise it. I think it's almost time. So let me quickly revise the things. So there's something called enum set and map. I will just send the code, but I can't write it because it will take another half an hour to it. But it's just that the enum function that we have seen a lot of time till now, it at the backend it use set and map to implement certain functionalities. Okay, uh, but mostly people don't use it. It's just for the demonstration that how it is a part of the collection framework. So that's why we are having it. Uh, but let's look at get the overview of it first. That what we have seen till last three sessions, we have covered a lot of different kind of collection operations over the period of this time, so I think it's better to collect it. So most of the collection operations can divide into few aspects. First, how to add a certain element, how to extract a certain element. Okay, these get and contains check that how whether the content is present or how to extract it, how to remove a certain element. Okay, how to clear the whole variable, the set list and all that. Size, okay, is check whether the is empty, but is check the it contains the element or not. Index of, it also extract the element, particularly the index in this case, and the sublist. Okay, so few categories are adding, removing, get, okay, and contains. These are very common, which you can find in almost all the collections that we are having. Maybe a different name, but that's the purpose that they are trying to serve in this case. Similarly, set, we can see that it has add, remove, contain, clear, right? Empty is size is also present, but it's just for to understand the element is present or not. But to manipulate the data with respect to it, here the add, remove, contains will come in handy for sets as well. Similarly, for maps also, put is in the replace of add here, remove is for removing, get is for extracting certain object, contains is for extracting the key or value specifically. Okay, and the last in the last 1 hour we have seen these three functions: key set, which returns a set view of the keys contained in this map; values contains a collection view of the values contained in this map; and entry set returns a view of the mapping contained in this map. Okay, it shows the both the keys and the values as a map in the form of a set. Okay, so that is what we have seen. Enums, as of now, the one we have seen till now, it has values, which returns the array of constants that we're defining in the enum. Value of a particular constant that we're asking for. Ordinal will give the index value, or the yeah, mostly we can say as an index value, the numbers of that particular position. That is what we are trying to get. Okay, so we have covered a lot of things over this course, starting from the interface, the OOPS concept, interfaces, polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, uh, abstraction, abstract class interfaces, collections, different type of objects like array list, sets, map. We have covered a lot of things in this case. uh, there more are there because Java is pretty old and it has a lot of functionalities which we can't cover, but these are pretty basic for you to get hands-on over a period of time. Once you get hands off over it, just the way now we are not talking about how to create a class or how to create as object, we are not talking about it. We are talking about that how a particular object can be stored in a particular type of element, be it set, maps and all. So that's what we reach to a stage where we are talking about that, right? So that's a natural progression of how we create a data, how that data should what attributes should contain, what functionality should contain. Once you have that creation, that's the first half of the maybe first 2 months we have seen that, and then how to store that. Now once you store that in different ways like list, maps, sets and all, then how you can manipulate them. So that is what we have seen using the Java aspect in over this course. So if you have any question with respect to it, please let me know. And the session is and from my side, and I think there is a 1 hour session that we are going to take on Friday, where if you have any questions specifically related to the exams or any concept, that we will take up at that session for 1 hour. Okay, so there I will not teach anything new. We will just look at that how the current concept that you can utilize in your next journey of when you're dealing with the Java. Okay, that's what we're going to take. So if you have any question, please let me know. We'll stop presenting and I will just share the code as well right now. So bear with me for a minute. So in the meantime, if you have any question, please let me know. Okay, so please click on this link. I've just shared that right now in the chat box. Here, whatever the course I've written, it's been there. So please look into that. And once this session is over, I will upload this video recording to the YouTube. So from there also you can see. So if there's any question, please let me know. Okay, so in that case, that's the end of the sessions, all the interactive sessions. Only one session is remaining for the doubt clearing part, where we will discuss any concept that you might not know, right? So that is will be on Friday. So thank you everyone for joining this meeting. Thank you so much. I'm ending the call for everyone.